A German Shepherd puppy was born unable to stand. The vets gave him a label: hopeless. He'll never walk. He'll never run. He won't survive past a few weeks. But one girl refused to accept that, and what happened next would leave doctors speechless. Because sometimes, when science gives up, love fights harder. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe, give this video a like, and turn on notifications. Because this is the story of a puppy who wasn't supposed to make it, and the girl who believed he would. The first time Emma saw the puppy, he was curled in the farthest corner of the crate. His siblings were bouncing, climbing over each other, yipping with excitement. But he, the smallest, didn't move, just stared with soft, unfocused eyes. His name tag read, Chance. Emma was only 13, but she'd volunteered at the shelter every weekend since her mom started working there. She knew sick dogs, broken legs, bad hips, blindness. But this one looked defeated. She crouched down. "Hi, sweet boy." Chance lifted his head, barely. The shelter vet, Dr. Salgado, appeared behind her. "That one? He's complicated." "What's wrong with him?" The vet sighed. "He was born with a neurological condition. Underdeveloped spine. No motor control in the back legs." Emma looked again. His legs were twisted, limp. She reached out and gently touched his paw. He didn't flinch. "He can't walk?" she asked. "He'll never walk," Dr. Salgado said firmly. "The humane thing would be to, well, you know." Emma's stomach twisted. "You mean, put him down?" "He won't survive long like this. He can't chase, can't play, can't even pee on his own. He'll just suffer." But Chance didn't look like he was suffering. He looked like he was waiting. Emma went home that night and couldn't stop thinking about him, while brushing her teeth, while doing her homework, even while trying to sleep. She saw those eyes again. Still, quiet, but not empty. The next morning, she made a decision. When she walked into the shelter, she handed her mom a folded note. It read, "I want to foster Chance. I'll learn how to help him. I'll take care of him. I'll try everything." Her mom stared at her. "You know what this means, right?" Emma nodded. "It's not just feeding. It's bathing, therapy, diapers, carrying him, crying when things don't work." "I know." "Why this one, Emma? Why not one of the healthy ones?" Emma glanced at the kennel, where Chance lay exactly where he was yesterday. "Because no one else will." That evening, they brought him home, wrapped in a towel, cradled like a newborn. And for the first time since his birth, Chance wagged his tail. The first week with Chance broke Emma's heart in ways she never expected. He couldn't stand to eat, so she held the bowl under his nose, drop by drop. He couldn't hold himself up to pee, so she carried him to a puppy pad, cleaned him up every time, and whispered apologies when he cried from the cold wipes. He didn't play, he didn't bark, he just watched her. And when she cried, quietly, at night, he still watched. Not in confusion, but as if he understood. By day 4, her arms were sore from carrying him. Her mom helped when she could, but most of the time, it was Emma alone. She searched the internet late into the night. Neurological puppy exercises. Dog wheelchair. Can paralyzed dogs recover? Some answers offered hope. Others crushed it. She found a video of a woman using a spoon to encourage muscle response in her dog's legs. Emma tried it. Chance didn't move, not even a twitch. She gently massaged his legs for 20 minutes every night, whispering stories while she worked. Today, a boy in class said dogs like you should be returned. I told him, "You're not a toy. You're a warrior." He didn't get it. You missed nothing at school today, trust me. But you, Chance, you made Luna from the shelter wag her tail when you licked her nose. Still no progress. But one night, something happened. While Emma was folding blankets on the floor, she heard a sound, soft, almost a scratch. She turned. Chance was dragging himself across the floor. Front legs pulling, back legs limp. He was coming to her. She dropped the blanket, fell to her knees. "Chance, what are you doing?" He collapsed halfway, tongue out, panting. But his tail was wagging. She scooped him up, tears running down her cheeks, and hugged him tight. "You're trying." He licked her face once. The next morning, Emma made a call. "Hi, this is Emma Brooks. I'd like to schedule an appointment for physical therapy, for a puppy." And when they asked why, she answered, "Because he hasn't given up. So I won't either." The rehabilitation center smelled like antiseptic and wet fur. Emma sat cross-legged on a padded mat, holding a treat between her fingers. Chance lay in front of her, belly on a towel, back legs limp as always. The therapist, a kind woman named Maribel, kneeled beside them. "Don't expect miracles, sweetheart," she said gently. "We're just helping him build awareness. Even small movement is a win." Emma nodded. "I'm not here for miracles. I'm here for Chance." Maribel smiled at that. They started with hydrotherapy. Emma placed him carefully into a shallow water treadmill. The machine hummed to life. Maribel held his chest above water while Emma encouraged from the front. "Come on, buddy. You got this. Just move." At first, nothing. Then his front legs twitched. He tried. Then failed. But they kept going. Every session, Emma marked the smallest things. A toe twitch, a tail flick, a shiver of effort in his thighs. At home, she made an obstacle course of cushions and towels, guiding him inch by inch with bits of boiled chicken. 2 weeks passed, then 3, and still no walking. But Chance had started making a new sound, a soft, almost whiny grunt whenever Emma walked away. He would drag himself a few feet, whining, panting, pulling forward with everything he had. He wanted to follow her. That was when Emma saw it. Hope. Real hope. One night, after another tough day, she sat on the floor near his bed and held up her phone to record. "Day 26, she whispered. "Still can't walk. But today, he moved one of his back paws when he sneezed. That's new. I'm calling that a win." She leaned over and kissed his head. Chance looked at her, blinking, still. Then, his right paw twitched. Her eyes widened. He did it again. And then, With a low grunt, he slid the paw forward. Just an inch. Emma dropped the phone. "Oh my God! You did it! You moved it!" She called Maribel. She screamed for her mom, but none of it mattered as much as the way Chance looked up at her, exhausted, proud, and finally, not just surviving, but fighting. From that night on, Emma never said, "if he walks." She said, "when." Emma stood in the living room, holding her breath. Chance was 3 feet away on the carpet, panting softly, his eyes fixed on her outstretched hand. Between them was a trail of tiny treats, spaced just far enough to tempt him. "Come on, buddy," she whispered. "You can do this." He pushed forward with his front legs, then paused. His back leg twitched, slid forward. Then, the other leg moved. Not much, not strong, but real. And after weeks of dragging, the movement was coordinated, controlled, and slow as it was. He crawled. Emma burst into tears. "Yes! That's it, Chance!" Her mom recorded it on her phone. That video would hit 2 million views in the first week. The internet called him the little shepherd who could. News channels started asking for interviews. Emma declined most. She wasn't doing this for views. She was doing it for him. But with attention came something else. Pressure. One morning, Dr. Salgado from the shelter came to visit. He watched Chance pull himself across the rug with wobbly effort, then shook his head. "Emma," he said carefully, "I know this is hard to hear, but this might be the most he'll ever do." She frowned. "But he's improving." "He is, but he's still incontinent. He needs 24-hour care. You're doing an incredible job. But he's going to get bigger, stronger, harder to carry." Emma looked down at Chance. He was chewing a squeaky toy, wagging his tail. "You think I should give up?" she said flatly. "I think you should consider quality of life. His. Yours." She didn't answer. That night, she cried harder than she had in weeks. She sat in the dark with Chance on her lap, staring out the window. "What if he's right?" she whispered. Chance rested his head on her leg. She stroked his fur. "But what if he's not?" The next day, she posted a photo. Chance sitting upright in a homemade support frame made of PVC pipe and soft straps. Caption: "They told me he'd never move. Today he sat up on his own. That's all I needed to keep going." The comments flooded in. One said, "Sometimes courage looks like a tail wag." Emma smiled and promised Chance, out loud, "We're not done." It happened on a Wednesday. Emma had just come home from school. Chance was in his makeshift wheelchair by the window, watching squirrels in the garden. He loved that view. His tail wagged when she walked in. "Hey, warrior," she said, kneeling to unclip him. "Want a stretch?" He barked, a small, raspy sound he'd learned over time. Emma smiled. They headed to the backyard, as they did every afternoon. Soft grass, gentle sun, no pressure, just time together. She sat on the ground. Chance crawled toward her. Then, as if something clicked, he planted his front legs, shifted his weight, and stood, just for a second, Maybe 2. Emma gasped. "You stood up!" Chance collapsed, but his tail whipped behind him. Emma ran to get her phone, heart racing. She missed the shot. But it didn't matter. He did it. She called Maribel. She told her mom. She cried in the kitchen and whispered, "He's going to walk." That night, the video she posted got 500,000 views in 24 hours. People sent messages from around the world. "You gave him life. No one believed but you. Hope looks like this." But the next morning, Chance didn't move. Not when she called. Not when she touched his paw. He was breathing, but barely. Emma rushed him to the emergency vet. After an ultrasound and blood work, the doctor came out, serious. "He has a spinal inflammation, possibly from strain or a fall. His nerves are overwhelmed." Emma's voice cracked. "Did I push him too hard?" "No," the vet said softly. "But sometimes, when they're improving, we get ahead of the healing. He needs time and rest. Strict rest." Back home, Emma sat on the floor beside his bed. She placed her hand on his chest. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I just wanted you to feel free." Chance opened his eyes, and slowly he licked her hand. No blame, no fear, just trust. That night, she didn't post. She didn't record. She just lay beside him on the floor and said, "We'll start again. Slower this time. Together." And for the first time since he fell, he slept in her arms. 4 weeks of silence. No videos, no posts, no updates. Emma had kept Chance's world quiet, just as the vet recommended. No pushing, no pressure, just care, massages, short assisted walks, and long talks whispered through the night. The internet had moved on, but Emma hadn't. Every day she carried him outside, let him feel the breeze, watched how he tilted his nose to the sky, eyes half closing with peace. "He doesn't need to walk to matter," she told her mom one evening. "He already showed me what strength is." Still, deep down, a part of her hoped. Then came the Tuesday morning that changed everything. Emma had gone to the kitchen to pour water. She heard movement behind her, light, uneven. She assumed it was her mom. "Back so soon?" No answer. She turned and froze. Chance was standing. No wheelchair, no support, no leash. Just 4 wobbly legs, holding. He was trembling, but he was up. Then he took a step. Wobble. Another. Emma dropped the glass in her hand. "Chance?" He limped forward, legs stiff, tongue out, ears back. 3 steps. Then he stumbled. Emma rushed to him, dropped to the floor, scooped him into her arms. He wagged his tail wildly. Tears ran down her face. "You did it. You did it." That afternoon, she recorded again. Not for the world this time, just for herself and for Chance. The video was only 7 seconds long. A shaky little German shepherd, standing in the living room, tail wagging, legs bent like stilts, face glowing with joy as he walked toward the girl who never gave up on him. When she finally posted it that night, the caption was simple. "They told me he'd never walk, but they forgot to ask him." The world lit up again. But none of the comments, likes, or shares mattered more than what happened the next morning. When Emma woke up to find Chance not in his bed, but standing beside hers, waiting, walking, living. 6 months later, Chance chased a butterfly in the backyard. He didn't run fast. His back leg still dragged slightly when he got tired. But he ran, on his own. Emma watched from the porch, phone in hand, capturing the moment. Not to post, but to remember. So she'd never forget what it took to get here. So she'd never forget how far he'd come. Chance barked once, proudly, as he flopped down in the grass and rolled onto his back. Emma smiled. Show off. They had built a new routine now. Daily walks, monthly checkups, and weekend visits to the school where Emma now spoke to classrooms about resilience. She brought Chance along, of course. He loved the attention. Children would kneel beside him, pet his fur, ask, what happened to his leg? Emma would say, he was born with something broken. But that didn't stop him from becoming whole. And then she would say something that always made the room go silent. Sometimes we don't fix what's broken. We grow around it. We build something new. That became Emma's message. Not just about dogs, but about life. Because while Chance had changed everything for her, she'd done the same for him. They had saved each other. And even though the journey had started with silence, with stillness, with limp legs and shattered expectations, it ended with motion, with purpose, with love that never asked for guarantees. That night, Emma sat beside Chance as he snored softly, curled into the corner of the couch. She opened her journal and wrote, he walks now, but even when he couldn't, he never stopped moving me. If this story touched your heart, if you believe in second chances, if you know that hope isn't measured in steps, but in trying, again and again, subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and share it with someone who needs to believe in what's possible. Because sometimes, the ones they give up on are the ones who end up showing us how to live.